Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Japan. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House. I hope you're good. I hope you're Genki. How you doing? I've got a guest already. Well, not a guest, I've got a viewer. It's me bro, Mick. How you doing, man? Good afternoon, he says from the Deutz. Good to see you. It's hot and humid here as well. Mate, it's been so humid today. We've had a crazy rainy season day, lots of rain, very damp. It's like, 25 degrees and 85% humidity. Crazy. Good morning, Keely Chow. Great to see you. Hope you're good. Hope you're Genki. Over in the States, yeah? Are you sweating over there too, or is it not too bad where you are? So, yeah, let me know. And Ohio. I'm going to say Ohio gozaimasu. It's not morning, is it, Megaloid? No way. It's konbanwa. It's good evening for you. Good to see you. No way. I didn't think people would be here. Starting a new show. I'm going to try and do this weekly, and it's basically going to be a bit of a comics talk. Not too long. Planning to do it for around 45 minutes to an hour, seeing how it goes. But yeah, just talk about last week's new releases, the ones that I recommend anyway, and what's coming out this week, the new ones. Give some Wakizashi picks, maybe, if there are any. Try and do at least one from Marvel, one from DC, and an indie comic or two. And then later on, talk a little bit about Shonen Jump. And yeah, that's about it. So, it's hot, is it, Keely? Yeah, it's really hot here. It's not been too bad last few days. We cooled down a little bit and it was a bit drier, but man, today's been crazy. It's like in the Philippines or something today. That's how it feels. So, where are we? What I want to do first is, check my show notes. So yeah, this last week for comics wasn't that great, to be honest. I don't know what you thought. I did reviews of, first of all, I did the Ultimate Invasion issue 1, which is a new like big release from Marvel by Jonathan Hickman and with art by Brian Hitch. $8.99 for a 40-page comic book, complete rip-off, and I've seen mixed reviews for it. I was a bit disappointed. I thought it was a lot of talk and a lot of setup, without much actually happening. But some people seem to like it, and they do like Brian Hitch's art. Although there have been some criticisms about the inking and maybe even the colouring on it. His pencils are great, because you see some pages at the end of the book where it's got his original pencils. But yeah. And the second review I did last week was for the new issue of King Spawn. Big fan of King Spawn here. I'm mostly buying and reading King Spawn and Gunslinger, and I dropped off the main title and also the Scorched as well, but I'm getting back into the Scorched because I've heard that's been very good. So they were my main recommends from last week, the ones that I reviewed. There were two comics that I didn't review and want to show you here. Let's see if I can share the screen. We'll see what happens with StreamYard. So the first one. Now this was a big surprise. This is from Marvel Comics, of course. They've relaunched The Incredible Hulk yet again. It's a new number 1 after the famous, kind of famous Al Ewing run, Immortal Hulk. That was relaunched by Donny Cates. He was on it for a while, doing a kind of crazy spaceship Hulk. And it's, come out again. If you look closely, it says Legacy Issue 782. The Age of Monsters has begun again, and this time it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and it's got really cool kind of it's almost like a throwback to EC Comics style art by Nick Klein. That's what caught my eye. They've gone for a real kind of horror feel to it. It's cool. There's like monsters, demons. We open up with a kind of Indiana Jones style scene in a temple somewhere in Iraq, and then you've got the Hulk, who is trying to take over a strangely hippie-looking Bruce Banner. Yeah, he's got long hair, almost like long, mousy brown hair in this, but it's a recommend. I didn't get a chance to do a review, but I would definitely check it out. Although, it is $4.99, maybe because it's, I think it's got more pages than usual, and there's no backup story, but it's definitely worth it for the art. Okay, let's get back to you. So, Paul Bowler, good to see you, mate. Paul, Incredible Hulk issue 1 was great. Yeah, I really like the dark horror vibe. Me too. I think the final page in it, you get a bit of a, what do you call it, an afterword by Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's basically saying that, he's like, I want to take it back to like the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, the origins of when it all started. Is he a monster or is he a man or monster? So he's going for that. And the second one I would recommend, let's see, I'm trying to share this again, is the DC Comics issue of World's Finest, Batman, Superman. Now this is up to issue 16. As you can see, written by Mark Waid, who seems to be having a renaissance over at DC, and with gorgeous art by Dan Mora, who I've been following now for a while, since I didn't discover him, but I found him first on the Boom Studios comic Once and Future, a kind of reimagining of the King Arthur legend, but set in modern day, with a really cool kick-ass grandma as one of the main characters. Dan Mora's also done art on Power Rangers. He's done, did you do the art on Klaus with Grant Morrison? Not quite sure, but I keep seeing him here and there, and I don't know how he does it. But this is a good issue. There's almost too much going on in it, if there's one criticism, but it's just so much fun. That's what we want with the comics. You've got it's got a kind of classic, not so much Golden Age, maybe Silver Age feel to it, but as I say, Wade's bringing in all these different characters who, of course, he's a huge fan of, and it does get a little bit over the top, a little bit filled to the brim with classic DC characters, but definitely a recommend for, just a really fun read. Okay. What else have we got then? Other releases that came out last week, as I say, I read a few, but nothing else really jumped out. Possibly, this is a lesser known title. There's a Marvel Comics title with a character that I just don't know called Hellcat. I don't know if you know Hellcat. And it's been written by Christopher Cantwell, or as some people have christened him, Christopher Can't Write Well. But I think it's really good. It's a bit of an indie style Marvel comic, a little bit of a darker, more serious story, but pretty cool original art. If you get a chance, check it out. But as far as I know, it's only a mini series, maybe 5 or 6 issues. There we go. Let's check. Okay, Paul's saying that he's heard good things about Batman and Superman. The only DC book I'm reading at the moment is the new Green Lantern series. Okay. Yeah, I saw the first issue of that. I'm not that clued up on Green Lantern, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the kind of back to the roots, maybe, with Hal Jordan and the tip of the hat to Tom Cruise, Maverick. Yeah. Mick's saying about Dan Mora. Yeah, Dan Mora's art in Once and Future was next level. It totally made the story even better. Now that was written by Kieran Gillen, and yeah, I thought he was telling a good story. I don't think I get them all. I got maybe 3/4 of the issues, but I had to buy digitally because you can't get physical over here in Japan. Especially not for the smaller indie publishers. I'm lucky if I can get a Spawn comic or 2 physical, but I've got to order it. But yeah, check it out. It's worth a look if you've got any interest in some of the old British mythological stories, to do with King Arthur. You get some classic characters like Beowulf is in there, dragons, of course, fairy tales, giants. Yeah, it's good. It's a good mix. Okay, so that's basically it for last week. So not a load of big recommendations. So next, what have we got coming out this week? New releases. So this is from tomorrow, basically Tuesday, when the DC comics come out, and then Wednesday for the rest. So they still date the weeks like from the Wednesday, but if you're a DC fan, you can pick up new comics tomorrow. Now let's have a look. Let me share screen again. This is the wonderful site leagueofcomicgeeks.com, and it's a good way to keep track of your collection. You can check out the different covers, variant covers. It's got the details for each comic. You can write a review, you can rate them, make your own pull list. So what jumps out to you when you see this? So basically, these are listed in order of the people who are using this site, their pull list. So the most pulled issue this week is Detective Comics, which I don't know about you, but I'm not reading. It's Ram V, and he's telling a very kind of wordy, drawn out story, which, to be fair, a lot of people seem to be enjoying. But I don't know. I kind of jump in and out of it, pop in and out and see how it's going. It's got gorgeous art. You can't fault the art. It's lovely, but sometimes you're like, can you get to the point? I just feel like it's all these different plot threads and they're not really being pulled together. And of course, number 2, the second most pulled one is Amazing Spider-Man, issue 28. Not controversial, but they're very divisive maybe. Zeb Wells run. Now, this issue's got art by Ed McGuinness, again for the second time. A change from John Romita Jr. And as you can see, Doc Ock is back, if you read last issue. Last issue was okay. It was better than it has been for a while. I don't know if I recommend it, but I've kind of got back into Spidey, and I'm here for the ride. I'm here to see basically how Zeb Wells maybe can he turn it around? Can he pull people back into this run? But we'll have to see. Then you got Action Comics. That's been pretty good. They've got 3 different stories in that, and it is $4.99. There's a main story with this kind of Superman family story, which has been interesting. The first backup story is telling the tale of John Kent, the son, when he's younger. They've de-aged him back to around 10 or 11, and that's been pretty interesting. And the third one, I'm not sure what that is. It's changed a few times, the third story, but quite interesting. As if you want to get 3 stories for one in one book. Then I'm gonna skip along here. Thor, I've never really read, not the latest stuff, so I don't know. Green Arrow issue 3 is out now. This is the Dawn of DC relaunch, and it's been pretty good. I enjoyed the first issue especially, so I'm going to have a look at that. She-Hulk, not interested. Then Ghost Rider. Now, this has been popular with people who like the character very much. They're saying it's a kind of return to the horror roots, but again, it's a title I've kind of dipped in and out of, and it's not done enough to pull me in, unfortunately. Deadpool. Less said about that, the better. Alyssa Wong, not a big fan. Let's see how you're doing out there. Okay, Paul is saying he's dropped Amazing Spider-Man because it's bad. Yeah. Okay, you reading Spider-Man Miles Morales instead. I've heard that from quite a few people, saying it's a much better storyline and the art is really good. Yeah. I read again, it's kind of random issues. I jump in and out to see. What I saw looked pretty good, but I just don't know the character, guys. I don't really know him that well, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me about the different kind of Spider-Man. But the only criticism I've heard is that people saying they've not really invented enough original villains for him. They're basically doing, the same version of villains that Spider-Man's got, but with a little bit of a slant. A slightly different slant for Miles Morales' character. But again, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, not much exciting there in that top row, is there really? As I say, nothing jumping out to say, this is an essential pick or, a definite pull. Go down to the second row, and I would say the Riddler comic, the Riddler Year One. I've been buying this. It's been coming out once every 2 months, and it's actually written by, is it Paul Dano, who played the Riddler in the latest Batman movie, the dark Matt Reeves version. And it's been good, but it's been more, for me, it's more like a kind of a Vertigo style indie comic, very indie style, kind of dark, looking into the psychological, mindscape of the character, the Riddler in this. You don't get that much Batman because, as I say, it's focused on the Riddler, and it's supposed to be a kind of prologue to the Batman movie. Why did he get interested in Thomas Wayne and all that kind of thing? So, but yeah, the art is really good, but it's an indie style, maybe not for everybody. Kind of dark. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it might be, there we go, Steven Subic. Yeah, good art. That's issue 5 out of, I think, 6. I think it's only a 6-issue mini. And we've got Batman Brave and the Bold issue 2. Not really interested. That's more of a kind of, what do you call it, compilation book. 3 or 4 different stories, but $7.99 for that. Last Ronin, I'm not reading it, but people are saying it's very good. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Last Ronin Part 2 is The Lost Years. Star Wars, Dr. Aphra. No, you're okay. Just scroll down a little bit more, the third row, and for me, The Scorched pops out. You can see it's in my pull list, little green sign there. I'm probably going to pick this up because, the last issue was good. Well, the last few issues have been very good, so it's a good kind of Spawn character team book. Otherwise, no, nothing really there. How about you? Anything jumping out for you? And going down further, we've got, where are we there? Local Man. Now, Local Man's been recommended to me by Pops. It's an Image Comics title, and is it Tim Seeley writing that? I think it is, yeah. I read the first 2 issues and they were good. It's got a bit of a meta comic book, what's the word? Crossover, Grant Morrison style to it. Even a little bit of The Boys, that kind of thing, but not as violent. About a superhero who goes back to his hometown after, years later after some kind of terrible, event or thing had happened, and he's trying to make good with people again, burning bridges or what. And just a little bit further down, one last one, which again I'm not reading, but if you got any interest in Usagi Yojimbo, who I was always a big fan of, but I've not been reading the IDW ones. I don't know, just doesn't seem as good as it used to be. It's all in colour now as well, and this one's $4.99. This limited series has been put at $4.99 instead of $3.99, so I just can't afford all these comics, so there we go. Okay, so that's it for new releases. Let's have a look. I've got Paul saying Hellboy and the BPRD Fearful Symmetry looks interesting. Might pick that up. Oh, you like Hellboy? Yeah, me too. Though I've not really delved into the extended universe, Paul. The BPRD, Lobster Johnson, what the other ones, things like that. Yo, Norinrad, good to see you, mate. I missed it. I wasn't even looking. Is there a Fables cover? Let's go back and have a look. I just scroll past it. There we go. Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah. The Black Forest, it says. Is it part 9 of 12? I've not been reading it, but I think my brother, who might still be in the chat, I think he recommended Fables, the original series. Again, there's just so much out there, it's hard to keep track of. One thing I don't recommend in this line is Predator, and a little bit further up was the Alien relaunch, third relaunch. Not been good at all. I tried the first issue of both, and they were just dull. The art wasn't good. It seemed like very sloppy, like Marvel just throwing all these comics out. And speaking of that, check this out. I can limit it to just one publisher, so let's just look at the Marvel comics out only this week, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 comics per row, and it's 3 rows if I remember. Oh no, sorry, there we go, 2 and a bit. So we got 16, 17, 18 new comics just from Marvel this week, and then the previews as well. 18, that's a heck of a lot. If you compare that to DC, and they've got 11 listed. Very different. Again, even 11 is a lot, isn't it? Think about it, but Marvel just seems to be... It's every week there's like 15 to 20 issues coming out. So you're talking between 70 to 80, maybe even more. 80 comics a month. Don't know how they're doing it, do you? Oh, okay, that's good. Okay. Stop sharing that. There we go. And Norman's saying Vanish. You like Vanish, yeah? Is that the only comic that Donny Cates is currently writing? He's kind of disappeared off the scene, hasn't he? Not sure what's happened. I hope he's okay. Hope he's Genki. And, okay, yeah, Mick saying Fables was really good. I didn't even know it was back. No, it's been back for, I think that was part 9 of 12, so 9 issues, 9 months. I think it's the same team writing it. I have to check it out. I have to have a look. But yeah, it seems to be, I don't know. People are enjoying it who are reading it. I've checked out a few reviews, but I haven't read a copy myself, so I can't say. There we go. Paul's asking, is this a new show? Don't normally see your videos in the daytime, Gray. Streams are normally middle of the night for me in the UK. I know. I've just got one show at the moment. I'm doing like that. It's late night Friday US time, so it's like really early morning UK European time. That's the kind of movie or TV review show. Sometimes it's a chill out stream as well, just hanging out with friends. That's every Friday night, so it's like, early Saturday morning UK time, and it's 1 p.m. Japanese time, so it's it's just a convenient time for me. But I want to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I want to do like a comics focused show where just talking about what was good last week, what I recommend, and what's hopefully going to be good this week. But I can't even pick that many. Vanish is good. Okay, that's Paul and Norrin both recommending it. Vanish. I'm going to have to pick it up because I know I've heard this from a few people. Like, Gray, come on, man, you've got to be reading Vanish. It's Ryan Stegman on art, isn't it? As far as I know. So just for that alone, it should be worth a look. And if Donny Cates is writing well, it should be very good. Okay, thanks for the recommendation. So the new releases that are worth a look. As I say, I don't even know. If you had to pick one DC title next week, I'd go for, this is just me, personally, I'd go for either Riddler Year 1 Issue 5 or the new Green Arrow Issue 3. If I had to pick a Marvel comic, it's Spider-Man. I know it's getting a lot of crap, but I've just come back into it, and I've gone back to my roots, my the nostalgia, because first got into comics through Gru the Wanderer, and then Spider-Man and Daredevil. I was buying it, and by the way, just missed. Oh my god, I forget his name. Stream brain. I started reading it with Ann Nesenti's run. I don't know if it was the very beginning or it was not long after she started, but just after, I don't know why I've got like Frank. I can't remember his name. Frank Castle. You know who I'm talking about. He's old now and he's lost it. Hey there, Eric O'Sullivan. How are you doing? Are you still on your hike, mate? No way. So yeah, sorry, going back to that. So Marvel, it's either Spider-Man or Ghost Rider. And again, I'm not even reading Ghost Rider, but I've heard from friends it's good if you like the character. And for an indie comic, I'd go for either The Scorched. You guys are recommending Vanish. These are both from Image. Or Local Man, also from Image. And that's about it. Not too much to get excited about next week. Yeah, disappointing really, isn't it? So, let's have a look. Thanks, Mick. Yeah, Frank Miller. So, I just started buying comics in the mid-1980s and I just missed his run. The iconic Daredevil run, because I wasn't quite old enough when I got into it. It was already Ann Nesenti, but I really enjoyed her run. As much as I got of it. I was buying it for a couple of years, and yeah, really good, I thought. Yes, Eric, Incredible Hulk was a huge recommend. I was talking about that earlier, and I didn't get down to doing a review of it, but it's so good. Definitely pick it up if you've got an interest in classic horror, taking Hulk back to his Kirby and Lee roots. Mad Caves, Hunt, Kill and Repeat, issue 4 is your indie rec, is it? Okay. I've heard of the title, but again, I'm not reading it. There's so much, isn't it, to keep up with. So Eric recommends Mad Cave, which is the publisher's Hunt, Kill, Repeat. That sounds pretty awesome. What a great title. Yes, Norrin, I did read Void Rivals. Wow. It was a new Robert Kirkman sci-fi story. Was it the first issue came out? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it might have only been last week. And the spoilers are out now for it, but yeah, it starts off as a kind of, enemy mine kind of storyline where you got two different alien species are stranded on a planet and they've got to either cooperate or die, that kind of story. And then halfway through the story, something huge happens. There's an appearance by, Yeah, I won't spoil it if you haven't read it, but a very big, famous character makes an appearance. You're like, no way, that's really cool. And it bodes well for the future. It promises a lot for what's going to be coming out later on this year from Skybound, Image Comics. Oi, Eric, says Megaloid. It's like Greek mythology meets Kill Bill. Okay, mate, is that Hunt, Kill, Repeat? I'll have to have a look for that. Check it out. Let's go back. Select all. Let me scroll down to see if I can find it. So, yeah, where are we? There are a lot of indie comics, coming out which you just don't get time to try. I've heard that the Nottingham series has been good. There's a Tales from Nottingham, like part 2 is on at the moment. They've been very interesting. Where are we trying to find it? Hunt, Kill, Repeat. Maybe going down too far. Good grief. Yeah, I must have missed it. But again, Vanish is worth looking. I heard there's a Dark Horse Comics issue 1 coming out, independent, and it's got a James Tynion or Tynion connection, but it's not actually written by him. The comic book is called, it's got a crazy title. Let me see if I can share the screen. Just bear with me for 1 second. Wait till you see this title. It's the kind of title that almost puts you off getting it, but the title is The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos. And it's I think created by James Tynion, yeah, but it's written by Tate Bromble, and the art is Isaac Goodhart. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm probably going to be checking this out just for newish or good YouTube buddy and fantastic comic book podcaster who's on every show in the world. It's amazing. Jim Werner from Weird Science Comics, he was talking about this one, saying maybe check it out. So yeah, we'll see what it's like. Let's see, the synopsis is: meet teenage mad scientist Christopher Chaos. For all his life he knew he was different. His brilliant mind works in ways that defy logic and enable him to do things that push him beyond his peers. Unfortunately, these abilities have also caused great pain in his personal life, leading others to fear him and leaving Christopher with profound loneliness and guilt. Oh my goodness. Doesn't sound like a barrel of laughs, does it? Then, one day, something cracked. Oh, here we go. When the cute boy at high school turns out to be a deadly creature, Christopher finds himself pitted in a world of monsters, heroes, and a cult of hunters out to kill them all. What do you think? Eric's saying he's reading lots of Mad Cave and Scout comics for indies lately. Okay, that's cool, man. It's hard to get them over here in Japan, even digital. I don't know if they always do them. It's difficult, so yeah. Paul Bowler saying that noticed that ROM issue 1 and Micronauts issue 1 facsimile editions coming in July. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember. I didn't read them, but I'm sure I saw them in the comic shop back in the day. 2 of your old favourites, yeah? That's cool. Megaloid saying, speaking of Dark Horse, you guys hear they're releasing Hellsing and Trigun Deluxe editions. Deluxe. No! Never heard of that. That's cool, man. The Hellsing one could be really good if it's a dark horror, isn't it? The uncensored version. Okay, Norinrad's got Micronauts number 1. Wow. Do you have the original? Yeah, that's so cool. And good morning to Dwayne. How you doing, mate? Hey, good to see you. Let's go back. So, yes, so that's it for the new releases. Not a lot of excitement coming out. Again, I'm scrolling down. I'm going to see if I can find that. Hunt, Kill, Repeat. I know what to do. Go into publishers. Here we go. And see if we've got Mad Cave. Yes, that's the way to do it. Oh, wait a minute. Tales from Nottingham issue 5 or Exorcists Never Die. Okay. And if it's not my cave, it's maybe Scout. Alrighty. No. Okay. Then I'll check it out if it's coming out. Good to see. Okay. So, what's next? What's next? Here we go. I want to talk briefly about the new Shonen Jump. I picked this up today. Here we go. Check this out. Physical copy. Something I can get in Japan. The only problem is it's all in Japanese. Can Gray read it? That's the question. So, Weekly Shonen Jump. Look at this. Look how thick this is. Isn't it gorgeous? Over 400 pages. It's issue 30 of 2023. And you get this for 290 yen, which is just over $2. About $2.05 or 10 cents. I don't know the character. They've got a brand new serialization. This character is called Icehead Gill. Looks quite interesting. I'm not quite sure about the art style. Are you? But let's have a look inside, shall we? The first page is a colour page. I know it doesn't come out so well on the camera, but we can at least have a little scan. See there. So it's a fantasy style story which opens. It's quite long. It's about 50 pages. And here is Icehead Gill. I haven't read it yet. I say it's evening here. It's like 8:30 p.m. I got back about 6 and had this in the car. I was setting up this stream, making a new intro, by the way, messing about. Really basic, but I had fun. But in this issue we have the new chapter of Sakamoto Days, which is chapter 124. It's crazy, isn't it? We've also got the new My Hero Academia, which is chapter 392. There, I'm looking at the big numbers which are catching my eye. The new chapter of Black Clover, 363. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And what else is in here? You might have heard of Akane Benashi, which I think Jim's a fan of. Chapter 67. Also, where are we? Witch Watch, chapter 114, never heard of Witch Watch. And what's another big one? Me and Robocop, Me and Roboco, 142. But yeah, it's so cool to get this. I'm going to have fun reading through this week, but just to give you an idea, look how pulpy it is. It's really pulpy. It's very lightly printed almost, sometimes hard to read. I know it's not coming out so well on the camera. You get green pages, pink pages, and the odd colour page thrown in as well. I do like the colour pages. But you know, you're paying like a couple of bucks for 400 pages, so there's no way they could do it any other way. And this is weekly, and it's still doing very well in Japan. It still sells well. People like the physical copies. And I know you can get the digital version, can't you, over in the States? That's what's very good, that the app is really cheap. So yeah, 290 yen, so $2, Eric, can you believe it? The website is called leagueofcomicgeeks.com, and I recommend it, really good. League of Comic Geeks. Okay, Dwayne, you're going to watch Eric's next. Yeah, I was watching Eric before, early morning. He posted videos like, was it 5:30 or 5:40 a.m.? It was really bright and light in America. It looked cool. Yeah, I know, mate, the glossary's in the back. I was reading off there's, what do you call it? Let me share this page. There's quite a good fan page. Here we go, let me share this. The Weekly Shonen Jump. This is the jump.fandom.com. It's a wiki. If you just look for the Weekly Shonen Jump, and it's, as I say, issue 30 from 2023, so it's brand new. And there's a list of 20 main stories. A few colour pages as well. So yeah. There we go, that's what I was just looking at. That was the new Icehead Gill. Not sure about the title, what do you think? Icehead Gill. He has a head made of ice. Very cutie, almost like a game character. This one is Asumi Kakeru. Asumi Kakeru. I don't know that. Round 2. Asumi Kakeru. And Aono. Aono Hako. Aono Hako. And I can't read this one because it's in kanji. Maybe Megaloid can. So yeah, it's pretty good site this. I like it. Gives you the list of all the different stories in it, and you can go back and see, all the previous issues, get a few colour pages. And that's it for Shonen Jump. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, Eric uses the League of Comic Geeks for new releases menu. It's really good, isn't it, Eric? Big recommend. The title's a bit silly, isn't it? Yeah, what do you think? I said Gil. I was curious. I thought I'm gonna start picking it up once a week and just to show it on this show. So you've got the American comics and then show a little bit of Shonen Jump at the end just to see what's popular, what the cover star is each week. So I was a bit disappointed with that. Dwayne is asking, did you ever read Ultra Mega by James Harren? No, I've heard of it though. I've heard of is it the author, the artist, James Harren? Sounds familiar. Yes, Megaloid did. Is it good? Do you recommend it? Does Jump have an indicia on the contents page? Don't know. I'll show you what the contents page looks like. It's really, really hard to see. It's right at the very back, the very final page, or if you're opening it Western style, it's the first page. As you can see, look at that. Ooh, crazy. But yeah, like the final story starts on page 465. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And of course, people who buy these, they don't read every story. I wonder if they do. I wonder if anyone does. But they're reading the ones that they're their favourites, of course. Checking it out, like Sakamoto Days is very popular. The My Hero Academia, of course, Black Clover. Yeah. What a spine. Jumpu. In katakana. Jumpu. Okay. Den of Geeks, you can toggle the week on top of the page. Oh yeah, the League of Comic Geeks. Yeah, I know. Trouble is that if you go back a week or forward a week, you can check it out. And then if you go into an issue, highlight an issue, when you go back to the new releases, it goes back to current week. So, but yeah, it's really good. It's a really good site. It's only been going for a couple of years and still a few little bugs, but now I think you can actually share. Eric, I don't know if you know, you can share videos as far as I know, so you can share your comic book review videos if you want. Not that I get any traction, but I've only shared a couple, but I mainly just drop really brief reviews, and it's a good way to use it, as you say, to keep track of what you've been reading, what you've been reviewing. But again, just need more time. Noinrad saying he likes Naruto and Black Clover. Yeah, they are good. Okay, Megaloid, it was great, yeah? Was it good? Is that going back to Ultra Mega by James Harren? That's a good recommend, yeah, thank you. Recommended reading. Awesome. So, there's two more things before I finish. As I say, it's going to be hopefully a short show. Looking to 45 minutes. The stories come in the magazine, then they're published in the... Oh yeah, the Takabon, is it? 3-6 weeks later. Okay, I see. That's pretty fast, isn't it? They put them into the different... Is it tankobons? 3 to 6 weeks. Wow, that is quick. I don't know how fast you get the English version, because of course, in Japan you can't get Shonen Jump in English. You've got to get the Japanese version, and it's a lot more expensive. I think the American Shonen Jump app is is it $3 a month? It's something really cheap. It's amazing. In Japan, you got to pay just under 1,000 yen. It's like 900 yen. The turnaround is pretty quick, yeah. That's impressive. Eric saying, I think the Weekly Jump is the comic book, and yeah, the tankobon is the trade paperback. It's mad, isn't it? What do you think calling this a comic book? When you see it's like a telephone directory. Remember those? That's how old I am, showing my age. It's thick. It's good for working out. I use quite a few over there to balance my books on. I've got some old ones from the last couple of years. But yeah, imagine if you keep all these, if you're collecting for a few years, you need a heck of a lot of space. Imagine trying to keep long boxes of Shonen Jump. My goodness, you'd fill your whole house up, wouldn't you? You could make a maze. You could make a labyrinth of Shonen Jumps in your house. Knowing Red, have not seen Baki. I've heard of it. It's like an ultra fighting anime, isn't it? And manga, I guess. Looks really cool, but there's just so much, mate, to keep up with. It's impossible. Yeah, going into Doc's argument of what isn't a comic book and what is. I know, I was just being, not having a go, I just thought, what do you call it? I was being pedantic and like, oh, according to, the Japanese manga translates as, it's like, well, yeah, whatever. Mangas are comics, really, aren't they? And speaking of that, Eric and Dwayne, Norrin, Megalo, everyone who's out there, what do you think? Do you think, would there ever come a day where maybe DC or Marvel would do a similar thing, like the Shonen Jump, do a monthly? I don't think they can do a weekly, would they? But a monthly of 10 pages each or something, of like 4 or 5 or 6 titles. Not 400 pages, of course, but what do you reckon? Or do you think that'll never happen? Would you prefer to have them the separate, 20, 25 page individual issues? It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? It's a bit like 2000 AD in the UK, which is weekly, but their stories like between, I think it's about 8 pages per story. So you get about six different stories in it. And you can get that on digital too, by the way. There's a really good website for 2000 AD, pay in dollars. It's cheap. Get really good PDF versions, PDF files, but it's reading it weekly. I tried it for a few weeks and I just lost track. There is some good stuff though, but sometimes it's a bit hit and miss. Megaloid saying if you think about it in terms of the Western comics industry, yeah, I suppose so. It's also perfect as a seat booster for the kids. That's right. Okay, Eric, yeah, did they? They tried that with the Wednesday comics on DC and 52 and Countdown. Okay, like a compilation, a monthly issue of compilations now. I don't reckon it would work, would it? It's too much to change. It's too much of a big change to the how long is it? 60 years, 70 years of it, monthlies. Yeah, it would be interesting, but I don't know how much the Western comic book readers would like it. And Mick saying that there's not enough profit in it. I grew up on the British Marvels, which were cheap black and white compilations with 3 stories, and they were bigger size, weren't they? Like magazine size, Mick. Yeah, I remember I used to read your the Star Wars Weekly, which was the Marvel Comics UK reprints of the American, the monthlies. So they break them down into, I don't know how they did it, and there were some original black and white UK Marvel Star Wars stories which were written, believe it or not, by Chris Claremont back in the day. If you pick up some of the Star Wars, is it the Ultimate or the Epic collections, the compilations, paperbacks, they've got some in there. DC and Marvel are unfortunately Hollywood, but you never know. Yeah. It's too much of a change, isn't it? Okay, ooh, looking good. Coming up to 45 minutes. Can you go for an hour? That's the question. So, last couple of things. Current books I'm reading. Let's get rid of that banner. So, it's not comic book related, but it is kind of pop culture. I've started reading Children of Dune, or June, as we say in the UK. Do you like April, May and June? Children of Dune is the 3rd book in the Dune series, Frank Herbert. I love the original. I know some people are not that keen, but I think it's a masterwork. The second book, Dune Messiah, is very different style. It's half the length. It's a much shorter book, and I wasn't sure on the first read because I was hoping for another Dune, but you're not going to get that. But on a reread a few years later, I really enjoyed it. And I've listened to an audio book of it too, which is good. So yeah, I'm only like about, how far am I in? I'm only 50 pages into Children of Dune, and it's a bit heavy going so far. It's mainly focusing on the twins, the children of Paul Atreides, Leto, and oh my god, I can't remember the girl's name off the top of my head. It's not Ganymede, but it's something like that, Gahinime or Gahime, something like that. So, and it's going into their mindscapes, the psychological side. A little bit of court intrigue building up. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting for it to get going, but it's a lot of setup at the moment. Cheney! We lost Cheney. She was the mum. I know, she was Paul's wife. But it's the daughter, Eric. Do you know the name? Oh, thanks, Eric. You got it. Ganima. Yeah, Ghani or Ganima. So, interesting name. No wonder I can't remember it. And Leto, of course. Leto or Leto. So that's it. Current reading. And one recommendation for either TV or movie from last week. I watched a Japanese film, a 2018 movie called Shoplifters. Oh my goodness. Sounds a bit scary, but it's a family of very poor Japanese people who have to shoplift food to kind of get by. It's a weird kind of, bleak story, but very realistic, set in Tokyo. And it follows, as I say, family of shoplifters. They don't all shoplift, but the father and the son, they're working, like one of them distracts the people working in the shop while the other one, just gets some food. And he has this policy where it's okay to steal from a shop because it's not actually owned by somebody. Yeah, it's the shop owns it, but it's not like you're stealing from a person. So that's how he kind of convinces the child to do it. But yeah, it was a good film. It was interesting, but a little bit dark. Yeah, a little bit kind of, realistic. Shoplifters. What a title. From 2018. And I think it won, whether this means anything to you or not, I don't know, the Palme d'Or from the foreign film that year. But yeah, great performances. Funny. Yeah, funny at times. Great to see this kind of poverty view of Tokyo, seeing Tokyo through the eyes of poor people. Realistic, working class. And yeah, doesn't lecture you. It just like tells a story with good characters and pretty moving by the end. And that was it. Okay, how are we doing? So, this has been fantastic. Where are we? I wanted to drop a clip before I finish. I managed to, I don't know about you guys, but StreamYard's been weird with me recently. I'm making these little mini clips to drop during streams, and they're only like 7, 8, 9 seconds, careful. StreamYard only lets me upload one at a time. If I try to upload another one before I go live, it's like, oh, error, sorry, can't do it, try again later. And this is quite new because I didn't have this problem before. I've not got too many clips. I've deleted quite a few, so maybe it's to do with that. I don't know. It hasn't told me I've got a limit, but this is for all you Rocky Horror Show fans out there. I was talking about this at the weekend, just gone. Big fan of that movie. So here we go. The wonderful Richard O'Brien.
Hello.
So good, so good. So yeah, I'm probably going to be rewatching that this coming weekend. So that's about it. I appreciate you watching. It's been great. This is going to be hopefully a new weekly series, and just give you a few Wakizashi Rex recommendations, and look forward to the new comics coming out from Tuesday and Wednesday this week. But not a lot out there. Some good indies. Thanks for your recommendations in the chat from Eric and Norinrad, Dwayne, Megaloid. Great to see you there. Michael, say hello. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in, Michael. Good to see you. Mick Cope, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And anybody else who's still out there who hasn't dropped a comment, say it. Really appreciate it. It's awesome. Hope to see you in a future video. I'm not sure what I'm going to be reviewing this week. I'm hoping to do a Spider-Man review when it comes out on Wednesday, whether it be Wednesday morning American time or Wednesday night my time or the next day. Maybe the Scorched, or I might go for Vanish, but I've heard that it's the final part of the current story arc. It's like, part 6 or part 8. So to come in right at the end, maybe that's not a good idea. I'll see what's out there. So yeah, again, give me a reason to get up early on a Monday morning. Thanks, Dwayne. I know it's early, isn't it, for you guys? It starts it's 8 p.m. my time. 8 till 9 p.m. I've got a bit of a free slot while Mrs. Wakizashi's working upstairs. She's got a private class, an English class. So it fits with my schedule. I know it's very early for the States, but it's a good time for Europe and the UK. Oh, Paul as well. Paul Bowler, mate. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Thanks for your Rex as well. And If you haven't checked out Incredible Hulk from last week, it's worth a look if you like horror-style comics. It's a good, dark Marvel horror. And King Spawn from me, I recommend that from Image. It's always worth a read. The art was a little bit different this week. It was Kevin Keane, and I liked it. It was good, but what's the word? It was a little bit cartoony at times. Spawn looked a bit funny, but anyway, that was just me. And good to see you, mate, dropping in. Before I finish, Vishal Patak. I've not read Berserk, no, I haven't read it. Oh, sorry, I've read the first volume, mate. I have. And I have volume 2 on my to-be-read pile, so hoping for it. But yeah, amazing art by Nick Klein, right, Eric, for Incredible Hulk. And indeed, Dwayne, the magic of time travel. So where are we? Before I finish, just let me say, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Let's go. Let's drop a bit of Akira before we finish. Good night.